Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time here, hello, my name is Mika. Thank you so much for stopping in. Heart to heart, are 50-50 relationships really that bad? Why is it that us as women stray from 50-50 relationships? Men who talk about having a 50-50 relationship, why do we get so offended? What's wrong with 50-50 relationships? Do I agree with 50-50 relationships? No. I'm going to tell you why. 50-50 only gives us 100% in a relationship as a unit. But when we tell people to make a decision off of who they want to be with, let's say someone's struggling in a relationship, they're unhappy with a certain thing that a person is doing, or maybe they notice their partner isn't changing, what's the first thing we say? Well, is the 80% better than the 20%, or is it reverse? That's what we typically ask. So I feel like if we are telling people to make a decision based off of are they 80% of what we want, then we can deal with the 20%. But if the 20% is something we definitely cannot deal with, meaning your deal breakers, your faith, hardcore boundaries, hardcore foundation, if that's in that 20% category, let it go. But if it's in that 80%, but the 20% is little quirks that you don't like, they chew too loud, they snore, they lie, they tell little white lies on little stuff, but the big stuff they can be honest about. They don't always call you when they say they're going to call. They don't dress the way that you like, or whatever, just the small stuff. You know, it may seem big in that relationship because, let's be honest, a lot of us are very particular in the type of person that we want, and we all have this ideal person in our minds. But if it's something that is not a foundational boundary or a foundational need, it's something that you can kind of overlook. He's not as tall as you want. She's not as skinny as you like. Not the skin tone I like. Doesn't laugh enough. Don't joke enough. Don't like to party. Like kind of boring or too excited, you know, but their 80% is that love, that they share the same faith. They had the same vision. Just things that matter most to you, the things that you're like, I absolutely will not bend on this. So with that being said, I do not agree with 50-50. I agree with 80-80. And that's because they need to be 80% of what you need, as well as you need to be 80% of what they need. And with that, you need to be giving 80% of yourself, as well as they're giving 80% of themselves to make the relationship be successful. And I'm going to tell you why. If I know that I can cook, clean, whatever, anything, if I just give 50% of that, if I just give 50% as the requirement, I just 50%. Sometimes I'll do it, sometimes I won't put in no effort. It's just the bare minimum. You're expecting just 50% of me. Okay, I'll give you 50%. 50% of the time I have to do this, and 50% of the time I have to be faithful. 50% of the time I have to talk about my feelings and stuff. Then, you know. But if you're calling me higher, you're saying, you know, I need that for 80%. I know nobody in this world is ever going to be able to give 100% of themselves, and you should not, because then you're emptying yourself and you have nothing to give. But with you at least giving, pushing forward, trying to get at 80%, first of all, it's really hard to do. That's the truth. It's really hard to do. So if you're trying to give 80%, that's asking a lot. That's calling that person higher. So you're trying to be at that 80%, which means you're giving back, you're reciprocating, you're loving, you're caring, you're respectful. If you say that you want kids, then you're working on that. You're not damaging your body, drinking and taking birth control up. You're really genuinely trying to do that. Or as the man, you are genuinely putting in whatever it takes to provide and to protect your woman. So I look at it as we should be 80-80. 100-100 is ideal, is the best ideal, but we're always evolving and always changing. So with that being said, nobody would ever be able to give 100%. We don't give 100% to ourselves. But I feel like in that relationship, in your marriage, especially in your marriage, you should be aiming to give 80%. Both parties should be giving 80%. And the man although he is a provider or we expect him to be the provider, you need to vet that man first before you get to marrying him if he's not that provider man that you want. Meaning you can't love him into becoming a provider. So if he was the type of man, it's like we're going to split everything all the time, or he's looking for you to take care of him or to treat him more than he treats you. And then you get into marriage and you're like, you know what? I'm ready for you to start doing this. I need for you to stand up and do this for me. I need for you to start putting yourself forward and, you know, allowing me to just be the woman. And not saying that women should not be paying for things. I absolutely do not agree with that. And I honestly feel like that is red zone danger, red flags everywhere. Do not do that, because you are putting yourself into somebody else's hands. You become somebody's property, somebody's possession, and they pretty much own you. You don't want that. You don't want that. So married or not, you should be still paying bills. Even if my husband was like, you know what, I want to pay the bills, I'll take care of things, I'm still going to be providing into that home. That house is going to be clean. Food is going to be cooked. I'm going to make sure that groceries are in the house. I'm making sure toiletries, if whatever I can come in and help, because I am supposed to be his helpmate. And so wherever I can come in to help, I'm going to do that. He's paying the bills. He's paying for us to have a place to stay. I'm going to pay to make sure that that home is furnished and that it feels like a home for him, for us. You get what I'm trying to say? So I believe in it, and all the women, you know, I love y'all. I am for my women. But you're really putting yourself in a bad position when you're saying you want your husband to take care of you. Because that means if he's taking care of you, you're dependent on him. And that means whatever he does to you, you're stuck there. Bad situations or not, you're stuck. He can do whatever because you need him. He does not need you. You need him. And I just know we need each other. And I would like to be an asset to somebody's life instead of a burden or an additional bill coming to his life. You know what I'm saying? And honestly, if you vet your man right, he will do those things for you. You don't even have to ask. You don't have to sit down and know, this is what I want for you to pay for. A true man, a real man who has stepped into his masculine, and a man who has evolved into a man and not a boy, he is going to want to provide for his woman. You don't have to sit down and tell him, you need to do this, you need to pay that. I'm only going to marry you if this happens, if that happens. You won't have to do that, because he's going to make you feel safe. He's going to provide. He's going to protect. He's going to show up because he knows his role as a man. And it's not about gender roles, but it's just in them naturally. Just like it's natural for you to be a nurturer, it's natural for him to want to protect and provide to the best of his ability. He don't have to make 6 figures to do so. And so I feel like, let's say you can cook. If your husband is paying most of the bills, he's doing the best he can, you should not take advantage if he's like, oh, you don't have to cook, you know, because a lot of men are like that. We think that a man is just like, oh, I want a wife just to cook and clean. That's a lot of men, especially if they like you, especially if they see a future with you, they are okay with you not cooking and cleaning every day. That's the truth. They're okay with that. They're okay with, okay, we can order out. We can eat frozen dinners tonight, because they're happy to be with you. Now, do they want that all the time? No. No, because that's very minimal effort. And let's say you have the type of man that if you guys go out, he's always picking up the bill. That's not reciprocating. You are allowing him to pay all the bills or most of the bills and being in protector mode over you and all this. He's showing up for his part, but for yours, you're like, I don't feel like cooking because you know he's going to pay for it. Then at the end of the day, that's not reciprocation. That's still you getting what you want, because now you don't have to cook. He's taking you out to eat, so that's a free meal. And again, it's on him. And so I don't know. I mean, maybe even if you want to pay for the meal, I mean, that may be better, but still, he still wants a woman who can cook, even if it's a couple of times a week, a day a week at least. Nobody wants to eat out all the time. But there are some men who prefer to be the one to cook. So if that's the case, then you be the one to clean up. It's reciprocation. That's all it is. And I think when a man says he wants a 50-50 relationship, it's not always about money. first of all, a lot of times they're just trying to vet and see what type of women are actually out here. So when they say 50-50, a lot of women get triggered and they get mad. Well, I wouldn't date a 50-50 man. But what does this 50-50 mean? You don't even ask. You just assume, oh, it's money. I'm not paying. But you got to pay everything on your own when you're living by yourself. So are you going to take the stupid pill and say that you do actually like this guy? He brings up 50-50. Now you break up with him. That could have been your husband. Could have made life easier. Even though you may feel like, I don't want to pay 50% of the bills. But maybe that's all he can afford to do. And better for you in the end as well, because y'all both paying full rent somewhere. But if you got married, then y'all are helping each other out. Granted, like I said, most men, though, want to be the provider. Naturally, that's in their blood to do that. And you should allow that. You should allow that and not make them feel bad if you want to take trips and all this other stuff. But if the bills are paid and y'all can't take a trip, you should still respect and honor that man. But back to what I was saying. Being in a 50-50 relationship, in the world's terminology, or an 80-80 relationship per my terminology, is not bad. It is not. It is reality. We have to help each other out. Nobody wants to be in a relationship where they feel like they're raising, they're loving, they're being with a grown kid. If that was the case, they would rather just be single. And I think that's why we have so many gender wars and so many men against women and so many people decentering men, decentering women. And it's not supposed to be that way because we're being tricked into these words. That's what we're allowing to affect us. You don't take the time to even get to know. And sometimes men will start off being like, oh, I want a 50-50 relationship because they want to see, like I said, what type of woman you are. And as time goes on, as they fall in love with you, they may be like, you know what? I want to take care of you. You're my queen. I want to be with you. I'm going to show you. I'm going to do whatever I can. If I got to work 2 jobs, even if you're working, I want to pay the bigger portion of the bills because I want to show you that I can provide for you. But y'all don't give people a chance. Y'all don't talk. You just hear 50-50, you're out the door. Now, if he coming straight in and he's hardcore, like, I'm not paying for nothing for no woman. If we live together, she paying half the bills, she da-da-da-da-da, and he's stern about it, okay. But if he's like, you know, I would like a 50-50 relationship, I don't see nothing wrong with it, but you can tell that he's open to doing more, talk to the man. You don't got to marry him tomorrow. Talk to him and see where it goes. You may find out that he didn't really mean it that way. He just means 50-50 reciprocation. If I'm doing for you, do something for me. It don't have to be the same. If I buy you a gift, love on me. Do something for my love language. Tell me you're proud of me. That means so much to a man more than what we can even imagine. We're stuck in what we assume because everything's just about money and sex. Half the time they don't even care about that. They just need to know that they're appreciated. He can buy you a huge gift, something real nice. And if you go out and buy that man a t-shirt, a nice t-shirt that he likes, maybe he likes Nike. You go out and buy him a Nike t-shirt to match some new shoes that he got. Or some shoes he hadn't worn in a while and he's been looking for something to wear, but he hasn't been able to do it. But just because you know that and you go get him that shirt, I promise you he's going to be so happy. Just as happy as you was with him buying you that expensive gift. And he's not going to look at it like, oh, I spent $300 and you only spent $100 or only spent $20 or whatever on my gift. He's not going to do that because it's reciprocation. And he's not looking for you to do what he can do. He's looking for you to reciprocate and appreciate him. But the point of my video is just to say, having a relationship is not bad. It's normal. Just figure out what the person needs. Let them know what you need. Relationships and marriages require a lot of compromise. So just talk about it, come to an agreement, and then figure out what they need. If they're like, okay, I'll pay for most of the stuff. We go out to eat, I'll pay for it. A lot of men are completely fine with that. I promise you they are. But he's going to need something from you. And it's not always sex. That, a lot of times that's not a reciprocation to him. That's bare minimal because he can get that anywhere. He needs for you to show him appreciation. He needs for you to cook sometimes. He needs for you to make sure he's good. Call him sometimes first. Text him. Tell him that you're proud of something that he's done. Tell him that you appreciate him. Don't just say it just because, but like genuinely, he wants for you to feel that before you tell him that. But do that. Stop being so prideful and stop being like, oh, he's a man. He's supposed to be, he don't need to, that's too feminine. He don't need to hear all that. He don't need this. He can just take this sex and take me on his arm as this beautiful woman and be happy. That's not enough. That's not enough. And men, it's not enough for you to just be like, you know, she should be happy to have a man. She should be happy with me having sex with her. She should be happy with me paying for things here and there. You need to reciprocate too. Emotionally, physically, financially, everything across the board. We all do. It's a partnership. It's a commitment. And in partnerships, we have to be partners. But that's my thought on it. Y'all let me know what you think though. Drop your comments in the comment box below. All I ask is that you're polite and courteous and respectful, because my opinion doesn't mean you have to agree with it. And we're not here to break each other down or to be negative or nasty or to judge one another. This is what I am okay with for my life. You may be okay with something different, and that's fine. Share it. And somebody who's going to come across your message may really need to hear what you had to say, or maybe feel like, oh, they get me. That's how I feel too. You know, we don't all think alike, but there's somebody who thinks like us out there. So it feels good when we can find those people who understand where we're coming from or understand the things that we want in life. But like I said, please be polite and courteous in the comment box. If you want to be kind of rude, you want to say something to me, that's fine. Just send me an email. We'll discuss it there. Or you can leave me a testimony if you like, of any kind. It doesn't have to be about this video, but it would help. It could be any testimony. You can leave that for me, or you can put share and I will share that for you. I can share advice for you, or you can just leave the advice for me. Or you can leave me any topic idea if you want to hear about something, or if you want to have a discussion about something, we definitely can do that. But just send me an email or drop your comments below. I love y'all. Stay blessed, and we will keep the conversation going and talk next time. Bye.